Hi, I'm jjbarnes and you're watching another episode of The Table Read. Welcome back and thank you for joining me again. I'm jjbarnes and you're watching The Table Read. If you go to tableread.co.uk, you'll find all the stuff that we've got going on over there, all the writers and people we're working with, and it's a really great place, so check it out. In today's writing advice video, I am going to be talking to you about the character of Dwight Schrute from the US Office and why he is the perfect character, and then what you can learn about writing from him. So Dwight Schrute, if you haven't watched the US Office, this might not make a lot of sense to you, but to be fair, everything I'm going to say, I'm going to explain it, and it will make sense in terms of what you can do with your own writing, so do stick around. So Dwight is the underling of Michael Scott in the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. And one of the reasons, number one, that he is a perfect character is that he is motivated. He is motivated and he is driven, and by multiple goals. He is not a one-trick pony. He has got multiple motivations at all times. He wants to be the top salesman at Dunder Mifflin. He wants to overcome the bullying attempts by Jim. He wants to have a successful Schrute Farms. He wants to have a relationship with Angela. He wants to make a baby with Angela. He has a lot going on all the time. Every single scene that Dwight Schrute appears in, he wants something. He wants to manage the building. He wants to teach people the dangers of fire. He wants to use his weaponry and to hide it all the time. He wants to be respected by Michael. He wants to be loved by Michael. He wants to engage in a friendship with Pam. These are all things that he has going on all the time. At no scene at any point in that series is Dwight not driven to accomplish something. And that is something that you need to give to your characters as well. Every single character in your story needs to have a goal, something that they want. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big story goal, like accomplishing saving the world type of thing. But every scene, somebody is entering that scene. Dwight walks into the room. He wants something. He is not just milling around. He hasn't sort of sitting about like, I have nothing to do, I don't know what I'm doing here. If he's in the story, it's for a reason. You're watching him trying to accomplish something. He is active, always active in pursuit of a goal. And that is what your characters need to be as well. Another reason that Dwight is a perfect character, he has interests, passions, hobbies, things that make him a rich and developed character. It isn't just the story goal that's happening in that episode or that show. He has things going on outside. His life is bigger. And your characters, their lives need to be bigger than just the story you're telling. So Dwight has a family. He has Moe's. He has a life happening outside of the office. Schrute Farms is a big place. It's got to be run. He is setting up a bed and breakfast. He has got all of this life going on outside of the office, and it means he is a rich and developed character. He is training in karate. He is like a volunteer sheriff's deputy. He has interest. He's human. None of us are just, today I want to, for instance, okay, in this episode of jjbarnes Life, I have multiple things that I want, that I care about. I want to give my kids a cuddle. These are all things that happen in that I love and that matter to me, that aren't a direct goal that you're following in my life. And the same should be true of your characters. They love things, they have passions, interests. They are bigger than just the story. Things are happening around them that they love and care about as well as what they're driven by right now. Another thing with Dwight, number 3, he has a character arc. He has a great character arc, a really interesting character arc. He starts the story like incredibly hostile and aggressive, and don't get me wrong, Jim is not a great person to him, but he's very antagonistic. His life, the way he reacts through the story has impacted him, changed him. He ends the story marrying Angela. Jim is what is it? Best and mention. His best man. His relationship with the characters around him, it changes as the story moves. And that is because the story affects him. Life affects him. And it needs to affect your characters too. They need to grow and change. If the events of your story do nothing to change the personality and ways of your character, then it's not very interesting. And it's not very important. Nothing really going on. Because significant things shape us, changes, affect us. Dwight is shaped and changed and affected. When he experiences kindness from Pam, he softens. When he falls in love with Angela, he softens. These experiences affect him. Your story needs to affect your characters. If they end exactly the same as they began, your story hasn't really done very much, and that's not good. And before about why Dwight is a perfect character, he is a distinct, unique person. He has behaviors, traits, interests, a personality, things that are uniquely him. You're not going to mix him up. He's not going to get confused with Toby. He's not going to get confused with Stanley. He is a unique individual. And that is something you need to replicate in your story as well. Because you want your characters to be clear and distinct individuals who could not be mixed up with anybody else. They can't. You can't be like, I'm not sure which character this is. I'm not sure which character is that. You don't want that. You want your characters to be clear. You need people, when they read them or watch them, to be like, I know who that is. I know what his personality is. I know what he likes. I know what he wants. I know him. And then you can play with it, because if you've got a really strong personality type, you can throw challenges at them and watch how they overcome them, how they deal with them. And they'll deal with them all different ways. Like, when Dwight wants to get the wizard statue with the crystal and they sharpen him all up and they do the pretty woman thing on him, it's hilarious because you know the personality type. It works so much more than if they tried to smarten up Jim. Because you'd be like, yeah, looks like Jim. But you smarten up Dwight, it's funny, it's interesting, it's exciting. Because it's you're playing with a character's personality that you have a real firm understanding of and doing something interesting with it. So that is my little guide to Dwight Schrute. There's plenty of other stuff as well, like the fact that Rainn Wilson is just brilliant is another point aside. But yeah, there's so much about, you take one example of one really well written character in a story and you can just learn so much about what your characters in your story will benefit from. Making them motivated, making them interesting, making them have goals, making them have things that they care about, making them changed and affected by your story and making them clear. Essential work to have a good character. And Dwight is done to perfection in my opinion. So thank you very much for being here for another episode of The Table Read. I hope this has been helpful and interesting and inspiring for you, and I hope that you all have the confidence to get your story out into the world. If you go to thetable.read.co.uk, over there you'll find all kinds of things that should do the same, like writing advice articles, other writers' experiences of going from idea to publication, just so much. If you subscribe to this channel, you will get videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, plus every so often more things go out as well. And comment on here. Do you love Dwight? Do you hate Dwight? Have I missed something really important about why Dwight is a brilliant character? I would love to know, so tell me. And yeah, I'll be back in soon. Bye.